I'd like to call the school board meeting to order here Tuesday, July 8th at 5 p.m. Our prayer and pledge of allegiance will be held by Ms. Phyllis Hale. Please stand.
Our Father, come to you today. We ask that you watch over all those single babies, grown-ups in Texas. We ask that you cover them with your precious love and your peace. Thank you for getting to celebrate the champions, the winners that we have in this room here tonight. We ask that you watch over the school board members and help us to listen to you and to lead. We make decisions based according to your will. In your name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, Dr. Van Meter.
Yes, sir. Ms. Ayo.
Present.
Mr. Baumgartner. Here. Mr. Grove. Here. Mr. Castile. Here. Ms. Fontenot.
Here.
Ms. Gay. Mr. Hardesty. Here. Ms. Hardy McReynolds.
Here.
Mr. Natali. Here. Mr. O'Banion. Here. Mr. Pichon. Here. Mr. Roberts. Here. Mr. Tarver. Here. Reverend Wallace.
Here.
And Dr. Washington. You have a quorum.
All right, thank you. All right, item number 3, approval of minutes.
Second.
All right, it's moved by Mr. Brewer and seconded by Mr. Tarver. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. Number 4, presentation, robotics winners, Michael Hardy, STEM coordinator. Dr. Van Meter.
Yes, sir. Mr. Hardy's going to come up and present the robotics winners from the summer.
All right, guys, thank y'all for allowing us the honor to come recognize our teams that have worked so hard this year. This is probably only a tenth of our students, but I'm proud to say that this is a tenth. So I want you to imagine how hard our teams have worked and how many we have. So first I want to recognize some of our VEX robotics teams, starting with team 70699C, Wolverine Robotics. While they come up, I want to recognize them for earning their Energy Award for their division at World. Guys, once I call y'all's team name, you guys can start coming up. Do I have anybody to do this? There we go. One of the 2 FK teams that qualified for state and then went on to Worlds. They won their Energy Award for their division. We have Ian Peoples, Muhammad Ali, Brad Welsh, Lucas Carlisle, Laura Vale, and Zuri Davis, and coached by Coach Hayes. Our next team we're going to recognize is team 70699A, Wolverine Robotics from FK White Middle School. At Louisiana State Championships for VEX V5, they won the Teamwork Champion Award. These students include Lucas Thibodeau, Everett Broussard, Cameron Baggett, Martin Garzon, and Zion Harris. And Coach Hayes was their coach this year. So our next team we're going to recognize is part of our high school division. This is going to be our bar team Kraken, team 43146K. Just to let you know, they won several awards at Worlds. They won the Pit Design Award, and they also came back with the Energy Award for their division at a world-ranked event. At state, they also took the Holy Grail, which is the Excellence Award. So out of all the teams there, these guys placed amongst the top of all the teams. So on this team, we have Rosalind Vendella, Joseph Egan, Nathan Funderburg, Bailey Gavar, Gage Guillory, Isaiah Houghton, Aiden Louvier, and Eric Phillips. Coached by Antoine Bradley. For those, just a tidbit of information, for those that didn't know, the giant inflatable Kraken, if you watch Beck's World, is our own Isaiah Hallman. Our next team we have is going to be Team 19901B, Cooley Tigers from T.S. Cooley Elementary Magnet. And at state, our Cooley Tigers took teamwork championships and got to represent us at Worlds. Coached by Coach Mike Robel. This is Akshata Gupta, Mobin Rosti, Graham Comer, and Carly Charlotte. All right, and then to recognize our last VEX team tonight is going to be Team 69403A. This is Team Atlas from Denton High School. So Team Atlas at state took teamwork champion or tournament champion finalists. They got to represent us on the world stage. Coached by Coach Sadie Newell, we have Kennedy Berry, Jaden Briggs, Angel Cardona, Copeland Adair, and Dallin Jones. Now, last year when we came recognized, we only really recognized VEX, but we've grown our program a lot since then. So the next groups I want to recognize are part of our Future Engineers programs. Competed here locally. It is the only tournament here in the nation this year. So we have 3 teams that were able to take first place in their divisions. First up, we have our Wolverine Engineers from FK White Middle. This is going to be a big group. They received the Future Visionary and Research Excellence Awards. We have Braden Smith, Brendan Williams, Jude Youssef, Riley Beso, Elsie Thacker, Laura Vale, Lucas Carlisle, Jonathan Lewandowski, Grayson Butler, Muhammad Ali, and Daniel Hong. So our next future engineers, we have Team Metal Minds. This was a joint venture between EK Key and TS Cooley and AA Nelson. They won first place and received the Environmental Sustainability and the Exceptionality Awards. So guys, come on up. This is Team Metal Minds, represented by Austin Basham, Jordan Hill, Bo Kent, and Nalani Jackson, coached by Carly Nunez. I'll score those gummy sharp, right? I'm sorry, guys. You're going to see several of our students come up several times throughout the night because they're doing all of our programs. Good job, guys. And then our last FE team that's coming up is going to be our J.I. Watson team from J.I. Watson Elementary, the J.I. Stingers. And they won the Excellence in Design Award. We have Perseus Barnes, Rin Willis, Anderson Fix, Drayson Reed, Hugo Garza, and our coaches, Coach Jill Johnson and Paul Fix. stop there. At robotics, we do underwater. So we have our underwater remotely operated vehicles called Sea Perch. So we have two teams that we're going to recognize here. Our first team is our high school team that won first place here at McNeese competition, and they are called the Robot Thing. We have Mr. Ethan Wayne, Miss Addison Fagno, and Isaiah Flugis. And our Sea Perch Challenge, they won class champions for the high school division, first place in technical design report, mission report, and obstacle course, as well as the Ingenuity Award. They swept the house, guys. And then last for Sea Perch, we have to recognize our Gummy Shark team. So our Gummy Sharks, even though they're elementary team, we did not have an elementary team or division, so they played up in the middle school and still won first place. This team was able to travel to Maryland to compete nationally. They were ranked nationally 9th of the technical design report and got outstanding feedback from the judges, and 27th out of 75 overall in their division. Once again, an elementary team playing up middle school. We have Austin Basham, Jordan Hill, Bo Kent, and Nalani Jackson, coached by Coach Basham and Coach Kent. And they won first place for our division here. They won first place regional competition at McNeese, as well as a sportsmanship award and first place in obstacle and addition courses. Thank you guys for your time.
All right, let's give all of our recipients and our athletes and coaches a round of applause, as well as their parents. And if you are a parent of one of the athletes, I want you to just raise your hand or stand, and we're going to give you a round of applause as well. Thank you for your support. Thank you. All right, item number 5, superintendent's report.
Yes, sir. You've all received your Head Start report. 25-26 Head Start applications were accepted in the early childhood department. 250 Head Start students have been approved for the 2025-2026 school year. The staff will be conducting more interviews in the upcoming weeks. Head Start students will report to school on Thursday, August 14th, 2025. You'll receive the next school population report at the September meeting, reflecting the ending numbers from May and the beginning numbers from August. I'd like to report our June 2025 sales tax numbers for our general fund, which show collections of $1,525,089, or 10.2% above budget for the 12th month of the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Collections are $229,048, or 1.4% above collections for the same month last year. And after 12 months, collections are $11,346,858, or 6.8% above budget, and $2,906,193, or 1.4% above budget for the same period last year. The latest hurricane report is in your packet. I'm required to read the following public notices. Public notice. Notice is hereby given in compliance with Louisiana Revised Statute 4219.1 that School District 21 of Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana, the district, will meet in open and public session on the 12th day of August 2025 at 5 o'clock at the offices of the Calcasieu Parish School Board, 3310 Broad Street, Lake Charles, Louisiana, to consider calling an election to be held in the district on November 15th, 2025, to consider authorizing ad valorem property taxes, secured bonds, for the purpose of acquiring and/or improving land and playgrounds, purchasing, erecting, enlarging, and/or improving school buildings and other school-related facilities within and for said district and acquiring the necessary equipment and furnishings, therefore, Title II, which shall be in public and for the purpose of operating and maintaining the school district's facilities. Also, public notice. Notice is hereby given in compliance with Louisiana Revised Statute 4219.1 that school district number 30 of the parish of Calcasieu, Louisiana, the district, will meet in open and public session on the 12th day of August 2025 at 5:00 p.m. at the offices of the Calcasieu Parish School Board, 3310 Broad Street, Lake Charles, Louisiana, to consider calling an election to be held in the district on November 15, 2025, and consider authorizing ad valorem property taxes and secured bonds for the purpose of acquiring and/or improving land and playgrounds, purchasing, erecting, enlarging, and/or improving school buildings and other school-related facilities within and for said district, and acquiring the necessary equipment and furnishings, therefore, Title II, which shall be in public for the purpose of operating and maintaining the school district's facilities. The Region 5 STEM Center is currently conducting their third week of summer camps. They'll continue to have the different camps around STEM each week for the remainder of July from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. This week is drone camp, and the remaining 3 camps are Robot Basics, Vex IQ, and B5RC competition robots. And you can see the results of some of the hard work here today. The Iowa High School the Iowa High School Pride of Jacketland Marching Band marched in the National Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. last week. Proud to have a band from Calcasieu Parish School Board support selected to march in this parade and represent us on a national stage. So congratulations to those. We have also had several performing arts groups that were honored. We had 3 performing arts groups selected to the LMEA Standard of Excellence Award this month. The S.J. Welsh Middle School Select Choir, S.J. Welsh Middle School Symphonic Band, and the Sulphur High School Wind Symphony were all selected for this prestigious award. Congratulations to these students and directors. We also had students from Calcasieu Parish School Board participate and win awards at the International Thespian Festival in Indiana this month. Congratulations to Mackenzie Menard, Alicia Keever, William Ellis, and Anna Sam Towery from Mr. King Todd's theater class in Sulphur. And from Ms. Buller's theater class, we also had several students win awards. These students included Alexis Addison, Cadence Barrett, Cami Bodan, Riley Bryan, Skylar Captain, Taylor Connor, Fisher Cooley, Gail Garcia, Claire Hebert, Sarah Henry, Trinity Isles, Jace Jones, Marley Kerwin, Radlin Lejeune, Gianna Lewis, Reese Manuel, Hannah Miller, Shepard Nash, Caitlin Newman, Hannah Potts, Ella Punt, Rachel Raquelme, Safara Robertson, Cooper Self, Parker Sonye, Everly Spears, Declan Sutton, Trinity Thibodeau, and Emma Young. Congratulations to all the students and their directors. We also had 2 students from CPSB placed in the FBLA Nationals competition. Ian Roy from Bell City placed 4th in the nation in word processing, and Emma Benson from Westlake placed 10th in the nation as FBLA Future Business Leader. Congratulations to these students. Gunnar Guy of Moss Bluff Middle School was elected as the National Junior Beta Club President for the coming school year. We received great news regarding our league results from the Louisiana Department of Education last week. The Calcasieu Parish School Board was named one of the top growing districts in the state, and we posted a 2-point overall growth in league scores. R.W. Vincent Elementary posted an 8-point increase. Benton High School posted a 7-point increase. And Quincy Middle School posted a 6-point increase. Top performing schools overall in each level were C.S. Cooley Elementary, Moss Bluff Middle, and Barber High. Congratulations and thank you to all the teachers, students, and staff for all their hard work. This concludes the superintendent's report.
All right, don't have any comments? All right, we ought to give our district a round of applause and our teachers, faculty, and staff for hard work. All right, item 6, executive session to discuss a claim 004893, Attorney Kyle Beasley. Need a motion? All right, it was moved by Mr. O'Bank and seconded by?
Second.
Mr. Bro? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any nays? Motion carries. Ayes have it, executive session. All right. Need a motion to return. So moved. Executive session. All right, it was moved by Mr. Hardesty and seconded by Mr. Vitale. All in favor, say aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Ayes have it. Number 7, take appropriate action on executive session claim number 004893 by Attorney Calvi. All right. It was moved by Mr. Hardesty. Second. And seconded by Ms. Botto. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Ayes have it. There are no committee reports. Take appropriate action. And I would entertain a motion on items A through K. We will discuss and vote on them individually. I would take a motion, somebody to move on items A, entertain a motion rather, for items A through K. To take appropriate action. And we will discuss and vote on them individually.
Oh, we're gonna discuss one minute.
So moved. All right. All right, it was moved by Mr. Tarver, seconded by Ms. McReynolds. All in favor? All right. Item A, rather. Approval of revised behavioral health services policy, JGCFH A. Dr. Finley.
Yes, sir. This is modifying our policy on behavioral health services to better align with Act 745 in state law.
All right, any questions? All in favor for A, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. B, adoption of 2025 villages.
Yes, sir. So we, at this time of year, I have to present the millages to you. So you'll see indeed what the millage rates are for this year.
All right, any questions? All in favor of 9B, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. 9C, adoption of 2025 budgets, number 1, general fund, and 2, special revenue funds.
Yes, sir. It's the budgets for this coming year, general fund, and special revenue.
All right, any questions? All in favor of 9C, both 1 and 2, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. 9D, adoption of 2025-26 salary schedule.
Yes, sir. So we have salary schedules for next year. I've also sent here for y'all a copy of what we're currently working on, a draft copy for the teacher salary schedule to bring it down from 98 steps to, we're currently at 47, with a whole lot easier to read because we've got the degrees on there as well, we can cross. We will have to touch for that every single faculty member who's on that scale, which is going to be about 3,000 people, to make sure that they're in the right place. That's going to take a while. So even if we wanted to adopt that tonight, I couldn't get it rolling by the time it's time to roll for next year. So, and the second piece is because we're going down from 98 to 47, it is a situation where it's going to cost a good bit of money, and we want to make sure that those numbers are right. What we'd really like to do for that piece is, just have you continue to look at that, show you where we are, and then probably bring it to you in middle of the year, something like that, once we've got everything squared away. But for this year, we're still going to have to go with the 98-step teacher salary schedule. It does have the $2,000, which I'll go in there. So instead of the $46,761, starting base salary is $48,761.
Right? And before we begin discussion, we do have a blue card on the item. I'd like to call Ms. Renee Rue. When you come forward, you can say your name and address. You do have 5 minutes.
Renee Rule, Calcasieu Association of Educators. I'm representing Calcasieu Association of Educators. My address is 609 Josh Street in West Bluff, Louisiana. We are for this salary, the salary schedule posted. We appreciate CPSB and Dr. Dingley's hard work on finding a way to increase salary. We would like to ask that there be something indicated on the posted salary that this salary increase that includes $2,000 supplemental pay. We're asking this for, here's our rationale, that one, this is how the language of that law writes, it is to supplement pay to supplement salary. And we feel like that needs to be indicated when we're including it in the salary. And then also, if you look at the employee paychecks, we already have a supplemental tax in there. It is the other half-cent tax. And that half-cent tax is its own separate line item. It is not included in what we post as salary. So with us posting the $2,000 from a supplemental payment in the salary, it could be misleading that that new payment, the new salary increase is that plus an additional supplemental payment. So we just ask that there be some kind of clarification. I think that there are some districts that do this, that when part of their salary that is posted as base pay salary includes a supplemental payment, they indicate that. And I think that it's understood that there's additional supplemental pay from another asset tax or sometimes from other areas. But because those supplemental payments are not posted as salary, it's not misleading.
Thank you, Ms. Rue.
Yeah, that's not a problem. What we can do is we can just add a line at the bottom that shows the date, and then 2,000 of that is from supplement. And just like we had talked about before, when we wrote everything out, it does have a separate line. It'll be in that line where everything, for the past several that are from that supplement are in that separate line. So you've got a separate line. It's just going to be a little bit more than it was before. And then we will also designate on it. Not a problem.
All right, any questions? All right, Ms. Gay, and then Mr. Tarver.
I just have one question. In the process of dealing with this and working on it, is there any type of representation from the various teacher unions that we have in the district? Because these kinds of things, if this is what they're talking about with their membership, they'll actually have at some point a seat at the table with you so that
Yes.
they can share their concerns.
Yeah. And the concern, like I said, the concern tonight is very reasonable, just putting a note down at the bottom of the salary schedule of that 2,000 came from this place at this date and time. Very, very reasonable.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But,
In terms of the actual math of,
no, I just want to know if the union, a representative with one of the unions, at some point before it gets to the board,
I tell you what I'll do.
work with you on
I tell you what I'll do, Ms. Lee. Before I bring anything back to you, I'll call both unions and touch base. I already talked to Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson called me yesterday. So she and I talked. I'll make sure I reach out to both, before we bring it back, whenever we bring it back to you, and any small things like this can be
it.
quick.
Well, I think they have more than just two. I know that there are two that are very in attendance. There are only two. There's no more APL or any of the others that were here a long time ago. When I was working, there were more than two.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Agreed. That's an easy fix.
Mr. Tarver.
Just very briefly, what we're voting on right here is largely unchanged from what it has been.
Roger that. Yes, sir.
And you may-
Except for the 2,000.
Right.
Yeah.
You may have mentioned the time frame on the big changes.
Yeah,
What was the time frame? I may have just
So
ignored it.
for the big changes, I'm gonna have to have personnel go through each of those and basically start checking people against these.
I mean,
My logic is, if I can have personnel working on that right after the start or the end of the big rush here for personnel, of hiring folks, I should be able to bring something to you, I would say mid-year, December, something like that. You would be able to approve it for the following year. That way we can go through and touch 3,000 people to put them where they need to be for the role.
but changes will be on the next.
Roger that.
Okay, that's good. That's fine. I'm just
Yep.
curious.
Any other questions? All right. All in favor of 9D, say aye. Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. 9E, approval of Louisiana compliance questionnaire.
Yes, sir. This is the questionnaire that basically talks about our audits and our information in terms of the information that we have to get to the state. So, whether or not we comply with ethics and so move.
All right, moved by Mr. Grove,
Obey.
second by Ms. O'Banion. All right, any questions? All right, all in favor, say aye. Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. 9F, approval of job description, transportation field supervisor, dean of district.
Yes, sir. We just had some minor changes on these two.
The field supervisor position, at the top, we left out the word route, so we had to add route. Let me get to it, I'll read it to you.
Route driving experience instead of just driving experience.
Must have 10 years of successful route driving experience, which matches the performance responsibilities, number one, item number one, at the bottom. So that was only changed there, it was the title, we left out route. And for the dean of discipline, the change for dean of discipline, we put in, at the very top of the qualifications, master's degree required, and about certification, educational leadership is preferred, so required. We look at that dean of discipline position, those are kind of upcoming folks that are trying to get their EDL sometimes, and we have had some folks that get in those positions that don't have their EDL yet, they're working to get it. So we just want to put the preferred, kind of opens the playing field up for some of those folks.
All right, any questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. 9G, approval of property casual coverages for 25, 26, reject automobile uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage, and give superintendent or his designee permission to sign off renewal related documents.
In your package should have a sheet like this, looks like this. It's just the, all the different lines of coverage we have for property and casualty renewal. Casualty, there's increase in premium, just due to the recent number of claims in the market, not necessarily by CPSD. And the increased cost on those claims. For terrorism package, there is no premium increase. For disaster management, because we have an increase in values of our assets, we saw a small increase in premium there. Cyber insurance, we have no increase there because we have no claims, and we increased our security measures. The tech department's doing a great job with a new product called Arctic Wolf. So we have someone watching our cybersecurity 24/7, 365. So we have no increase there. Our property premiums actually went down 11.42%, saving us a little over $600,000 in premiums. And that's due to several factors, but mainly due to our walkthrough appraisals and the relationships we have going on with our syndicates in London and the safety and security protocols that we put in place and that we follow. Excess workers' comp, the rate remained flat. Our increase in premium there is due to the increase in total payroll, and our brokerage fees stayed the same. There's no increase there. So at this time, staff is recommending to approve these property and casualty insurance coverages for 25-26 plan year, to reject uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage as we do annually for 25-26, and to give the superintendent and his designee permission to sign all insurance renewal documents.
All right, any questions? All right, Mr. Broke?
Kudos on that. Looks like that trip to London kind of paid off. Like, I speak those guys' language. That's always a good trip.
Yeah, they're very big on personal relationships, and so it, not only in the past, it's helped us stay insured, but now it's actually working in our favor to reduce our premium. So yeah, it definitely helps.
I mean, we're kind of hearing overall, if we got quite a year this year, we may stay flat again next year. But I don't know if it's possible or not. But I wouldn't mind retaining the set budget for what we paid last year, but retain that savings in the insurance account to offset if we get a bump, double tap next year. I don't know if we can do that or not, but I would highly recommend, I don't know if we need to do a motion on that or not, but I think we ought to keep that savings in that account. Where if we do get a bump, it kind of helps even out premiums over the multi-year.
Yes, sir. That'd be a question for Mr. Ben. I'm all for it.
I don't see here.
Yes, sir.
It's right here. So that's what I was just asking him, is whether or not the budget that y'all just approved, right, would have that in it already, because this is relatively late news. We just found out about this.
Yeah, like in the past month, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I know they've been working budget for a while, so it may have it in it already. We'll have to double check.
Do we have to make a motion on this, or can we just?
You're talking about the savings?
Yeah.
The savings?
No,
At the end of the year?
no, in other words, he has that budgeted already. The question is, can we just leave the amount we have budgeted? Like,
Budgeted,
to make
and
sure
that way it gives us a $400,000-$600,000 cushion in case we get double that next year, because it's gonna happen.
my logic would be that it's probably in there already, but we can double check on that for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because this budget would have started to be prepared before we found out about that reduction in claim, or in premium.
Yeah, so it's in, okay.
It should be, but we'll double
Yeah,
check.
the calculations, the budget I turned in had 6.8 million for the whole package, and it's nowhere near that. So it's already in the revision, in the budget that I turned in for another year.
I just don't want to revise it down for next year's budget.
Understood. Yes, sir. I think we should be okay because of the timing.
Right.
Any other questions? Mr. Bumgarner?
It's not so much a question, but I'm gonna vote nay on this. I'm just gonna take one on real quick, because it goes back to the uninsured motorists. My son was in a wreck on the school bus at a school trip a year and a half ago, cost me $3,400. We're gonna get to a situation at some point where something bad's gonna happen, where I have uninsured motorists, and I'm telling you, it's gonna fight us, but.
Any other questions or comments? All right. All in favor of 9G, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
One nay. Motion carries, ayes have it. All right, 9H, student accident insurance.
So this is, we have two different policies. We have the catastrophic accident renewal proposal. There are no changes to benefits or rates as that calculate the premium. The rate just went up, or the premium went up because we have an increase in enrollment, which is good. But the catastrophic accident renewal policy really just covers athletes. If there's something really, really serious that happens, dismemberment, loss of eyesight, loss of hearing, death, anything like that, that's what this policy covers. And it covers all of our athletes and any after-school activities at all. And that premium is going from $20,999.74 to $21,396, about $400 increase. And then the student accident proposal, this is for our extended day and our extended day summer programs. This one actually covers all students that are participating in those, and there's no increase in premium because we really didn't have that big of a jump in enrollment. So that one for this year is $7,965 to cover all of those students.
Any questions? All right, all in favor, 9H?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. 9I, approval of right-of-way and servitude agreement with Delta South Louisiana Gas.
Yes, sir. So this is something we'd like to do, subject to, of course, CPSB council approval, and it has to do with gas right away over by Rossi, 6th Street.
Right. Any questions? All right. All in favor, 9I, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. 9J, approval of HVAC services for District West Side.
Yes, sir. So the Calhoun Fair School Board recently completed a request for proposals for HVAC contractor for our district beginning November 1st, 2025. And on the meeting held June 3rd, 2025, staff was asked to re-interview Barnhart Corporate Mechanical Contractors and Star Service to recommend a contractor to service the west side of the parish. So we did a request for information and held interviews on June 16th. And at this time, representatives from each company were interviewed and invited to present any information they felt would be helpful in the selection process. Questions that may have been unclear or unanswered in the RFP process at that time were asked. All three companies provided excellent presentations and references and answered the questions completely. It's the staff opinion that all of these companies would provide quality service for our schools. And a summary of the cost and potential employees for each company is listed on the paper that you have in front of you. Because one company needs to be selected, staff felt that price was a deciding factor amongst these three. So when you look at the annual cost amongst these three, staff recommended Barnhart as the HVAC contractor on the west side due to the decreased cost in terms of between those three. Barnhart came in at an annual cost of around $3 million. Star came in at an annual cost of around $3.9 million, and CMC came in at an annual cost of $7.6 million.
Before we begin discussion, we do have a blue card on the item, Mr. Thomas Adams. All right, Mr. Adams, when you come to the mic, you can state your name, obviously, but your address as well as the company or organization that you represent.
Thank you very much. Thomas Adams, I'm the general manager of Star Service here in Lake Forest, and our address is 2880 Highway 171 North. It's actually in the Gillis vicinity, but I appreciate the opportunity, Dr. Van Meter, to present to you and the executive staff at the meeting you mentioned, and something that Dr. Washington said at the last meeting really kind of resonated with me, and it was the fact that you don't necessarily know who we are, and so took that opportunity to reach out to everyone and make sure that you had information that not just from what we would have to say about ourselves, but from what other school districts and what other local entities and organizations and credible people, if I could say, have to say about us and why they do business with us. We never have really based our service on price. We base it on performance. And I know that many of you trust the sheriff and trust the Honorable Mike Danahay and trust people in the Catholic community, these references that we gave. But more importantly, I felt like it was really important for the superintendents in the other 9 school districts that we provide service to, not counting parochial and private schools that utilize our service. And our business model is such that we have a lot of vertical business units, medical facilities, and we have commercial buildings and restaurants, and all of these vertical business units, they have their own nuances, things that are important to them, and it's more than just is my air conditioning working and my heating working, which at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. But with regard to schools, there's certainly some particulars that apply, and a lot of it is intangible, but a lot of it's measurable as well. And so having been married to a past administrator and a teacher of 33 years, I can pretty much tell you some of the stories that I've lived through in our 40 years of marriage. And one of them is, testing irregularities. And I know that's a big thing when it comes down to environmental or classroom issues that either, it plays an important role in the learning ability of students and the teaching ability of teachers. And what we bring to the table, and I feel like what is so important, just to say if I could, and Reverend Walsh, don't run over here, but it's the fact that we feel like in our evaluation, and we went to all 31 schools in the West Zone, every one of them, and what we saw, the main element that's missing is preventive maintenance. And I want that to resonate with you just for a second, because preventive maintenance, and I'm talking about disciplined preventive maintenance, not just kicking the tires, but making sure that we're gathering performance data on these units, that we're proactively looking for things that are wrong. Though that's what prevents failures. And when you have a failure, the second most important element is your response time. So we have a location, 2880 Highway 171 North, right next to the, you know where that is, in close proximity to Joe Mill Road. That response time is what is so critical. And so I implore you to please consider that.
1 minute, Rick.
Do you have does it seem reasonable and sustainable that someone could drive from out of town a couple of hours and provide the type of service and response you're going to need for these systems, as opposed to someone who could, in all likelihood, be at any given location in 20 to 25 minutes? Did you say, did I miss something? No. Okay.
Yeah, you have
So
1 minute left, yeah.
Okay. 22 technicians currently working out of this office. They're all either in Calcasieu or Beauregard Parish. So very well embedded in the Western Zone. And I just think that's going to be a critical factor that I'd like to ask each and every one of you to consider and give some serious weight to.
All right. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Adams.
Thank each of you. Thank you.
All right, discussion, Mr. O'Banion.
I'd like to make a motion based on the advice of Mr. Bourne to accept the low bid of Johnson Control and create a $1 million, annual fund to replace equipment parish-wide with the savings.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Levanian and seconded by Mr. Pishon. All right, let's discuss. So now we're discussing the motion. Can you restate that firmly? We'll know exactly what we're discussing now.
It's to award the contract to Johnson Control and with the savings, create $1 million a year fund to replace equipment parish-wide.
All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Bro?
With 8 votes, you can do pretty much damn near anything you want to do with this. Does it make it right? No, but you can do pretty much whatever the hell you want to do. The last 20 some odd years, all I've heard was moaning, groaning, complaining, especially a lot of these sides of the river about the issues with Johnson Control. And a lot of that has to do with bonds not being passed, maintenance. A lot of that, we, on our side, we've got over $156 million of bonds. We've spent money that day, all of our citizens, have we signed commissions up there? Yes. But a lot of the issues that we've had with Johnson Control are from our own making. Look at the difference in the bids between Johnson Control and the bids that we have up here. Imagine had we been paying Johnson Control that amount of money over the past 6 years, we would not have the problems and complaints that we have. We hadn't done that. Look at what they've done since we've given them additional monies to be able to hire additional people. A lot of that has gotten better. Does it need to get better? Yes. But we're blaming somebody else for the things that we did not want to pay for. But I find it rich, like it gets back to 8 votes. Well, we're complaining about this. We have issues with that. We want to make a change, but you're going to have to deal with the change. Not us. You're going to have to go deal with it. And it gets back to 8 votes. You pretty much do whatever the hell you want to do on this board. I don't think it's right to be able to do that. Look at the savings. If it's about savings, and the motion is to accept somebody that's out of state, or not out of state, but out of town, that's going to take them, God forbid, forever to get here to take care of the problem, as opposed to having somebody local, that's a problem. So we're looking at the difference. The low bid from what Johnson is what, $520 some odd thousand a year. Difference in what the lowest bid that we have. I've read the proposals that they have. I like STARS, which I like the local aspect of it. If we're going to do anything, I'd rather go with that. But if it comes down to the money and we're making a recommendation based off of nothing but the price, then look at what Johnson Controls is. I say we match the lowest bid, add $500,000 to what Johnson's project is, and do that, or save the money and put it in replacing equipment parish-wide. If we wanted to buy things, I've got an idea to be able to help to buy things even farther, but it just doesn't make any sense that we want to do that. We've done a lot of things over the past, several years that with 8 votes you can end up doing. We ended up redoing all the tracks on this side of the river out of general funds, but didn't give any money to the people that passed the bonds on the other side. We did the same thing with 8 votes on the last superintendent thing that we had. We didn't have somebody that wanted in there, so what did we do? We changed the qualifications for 8 votes to be able to do that. Nothing against our current superintendent at all. If that came across in a bad way, I feel fuchsia. Chemo still coming in sometimes, but I profusely apologize for that. That is not a slap at you at all. I mean, I vote, but anyway, I just think it's we want to do something different, but yet what we're complaining about, we don't want to change. We want to stay with what we complained about for 20 some odd years, but yet you guys can go try to move people out. I'll stop there, but man, that almost what the motion is, I'm going to support that. For those reasons.
All right. And so, Mr. Van, you made the motion and we kind of skipped over. We'll allow you to speak on behalf.
I just wanted to say, I think, like Mr. Bro said, and other people have mentioned, for years, we have chosen to cut the budget. And there were probably valid reasons at the time. We probably needed to cut, but we cut it to the point where they couldn't perform. But once we increased their number of personnel, they've done better, they've done preventative maintenance. I don't own stock in any of the companies. It doesn't matter to me, but I just think this makes more sense to put $1 million into replacement equipment for the whole school, so we don't end up in the shape we were in when we had to use the ESSER money. Luckily, we had ESSER money, but if we don't do this or something like it, in 10 years, we're gonna be in the same shape. We're gonna have all this old equipment that needs to be replaced. We're not gonna have the money to do it. This is thinking ahead, this is preventative maintenance. And I talked to the Lafayette Parish School Board, and same thing. There's nothing against Star. I think y'all do a good job, but it's just, you know, we did an RFP. I mean, some people answered everything in it, some people didn't, but we have an opportunity to change things and make it better district-wide for all of us long after we're gone, so we don't end up in this same situation. But what I was gonna say about Lafayette Parish, they're doing their situation, their contract working excellent, but they passed a bond for $45 million to replace refrigeration systems. So if we could do that, that would solve a lot of our problems. But we can't do that, but this is a small step, but it's actually a big step. It would, and this isn't an east versus west, this will be where the need is the greatest. And I don't care where that is, it will help us all, and that's what I propose to do.
And I just want to make a reminder to everyone, make sure that you keep your decorum and composure in meetings and such, okay? Let's make sure that we maintain that and be examples, even when we're passionate about what we believe in, all right? Next, Ms. Natalia.
I just had one question, I'm all about saving taxpayers' dollars, that's the thing. You hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I love the idea of saving $1 million, but I think you open up a can of worms. Who's going to determine how that $1 million is spent? Which school does it go to? Does it go to the ones that haven't received as much money from the ESSER fund? So just a bunch of questions that have to be answered. That was more of a statement than a question. That was it.
All right, are there any other questions? All right, let's start comments.
So I'll just, I guess, respond to some of Mr. Bro's comments. First of all, I understand a lot of what your frustrations are, but there's no intention here to say, let's stick the west side of the river with this garbage, you know. That was never the intention of anybody that was here. And just for reference, we did litigate this extensively. I know that you weren't there, and I can see how that would be frustrating. We've been through it extensively, and I never had any interest in picking anybody for one side or which, other than I'm tired of the same old with Johnson Controls, and I wanted the district divided up. And I was very clear about that from the get-go at the last meeting. I'm not saying we completely give the boot, baby, whatever the phrase is, about to throw the baby out with the bathwater to Johnson Controls. That was never the intention, but I wanted the district split up. And so, because I still want that, don't want to change that. And so I'm an obvious no on giving Johnson Controls both sides, because I want it split up. I want two different companies able to show us two different, levels of, service, and two different perspectives that we can basically let them compete. I want them to compete. And, that's where that came from at the last meeting. And I do understand your frustrations that if you weren't there and you feel like we did that to you, that was not the intention. My intention anyway was to split the district up. Also, I have no intention of supporting the guys from Baton Rouge, Barnhart from Baton Rouge, because they're the lowest bidder. I have no intention of doing that. If it was me, I would prefer the local guys to start over Barnhart. But I just would like to have two different providers, not the same provider on both sides. That's So I'm a no on this particular thing. I'm sure we'll have lots of things come up.
Mr. Roberts?
Thank you. Just want to remind everybody, last year we put out this RFP for, this board voted to put this out, to split the parish. Because Johnson Control did not perform, period. We all debated that and we decided to split it. Now, I don't know what we paid to do this. I want the number $20,000 sticks out in my head that we paid CSRS or something like that, to come up, to put this RFP out and split the parish. And so here we've gone through that process. We didn't do this to find the lowest price, the cheapest price, so we end up in the same boat. The cheapest price is not working. I'd have loved to pay the extra price in the 23-24, 24-25 school, 23-24 school year, not have gone through what our teachers and our students had to go through. And trust me, it was bad before then, but that was icing on the cake for me. I went through my emails again today from that time frame. I had 15 in 3 days. I had students texting me. I had teachers begging. It was awful. And it wasn't just me. It was both sides of the river. It wasn't just our bombing district. And we have put money into our HVAC systems. And the result is the same every year. It hasn't worked. Cheap has not worked. Period. Can we save $1 million and put it up every year and fix HVAC? Sure, but we don't need to do it by cheapening the maintenance or the service that we get by going back to Johnson Control again, period. So our board decided to put this out there and split the parish. And now here we are thinking about going back to where we were before. That doesn't make sense. We were just over budget for the month, same month last year, what, $1.5 million, whatever. There's your million right there. There's plenty of money to find $1 million, but we don't need to cheapen and keep going down the same road we've been going with our I'm sorry. I don't mind spending the extra money. It's that important, and cheap hasn't worked.
Right, Mr. Pishon, and then Ms. Gay.
Okay, so as I said last time of this, I mean, we've had Johnson Control for quite a while, and we gave them the proper tools. People don't become inherently, that are good at their job, don't inherently become bad at their job. People with bad tools become bad at their job. We gave them the tools, we gave them the people, everything improved. I'm right there with you, Mr. Roberts. We had so many phone calls, it's ridiculous. It felt like that was a full-time job. But we replaced those. Last year, much better. And if we take that money and save it, we can make sure that's improving, because we can spend an extra $1.5 million or $1.3 million to go with a different company or whatever we want to do, but then we're still having to replace the money. I know money, we're over budget for now and everything like that, but this is preventative maintenance, truly. Being able to have this money, so if we got to replace something, it's not like, what are we doing with this? I have so much I have to do. We have so much other things. We got LeBron has to replace all of our bleachers. That's going to cost us a lot of money. This is money that can be used better places in the parish than going with another option. When we gave them the right tools, they did well. And I feel like if we're doing a disservice to all of our constituents and taxpayers if we go with anything else.
Ms. Gay.
To the chair, Mr. President, just exactly, what are we discussing? Going completely with Johnson Control, that lengthy discussion the last time, or of east and west side? So just exactly.
We're discussing the subsequent motion that Mr.
Okay, and that's just to go with one, to delete,
Go back with Johnson Control, but also.
as opposed to east and west side.
Yes, ma'am.
That's off the table, east and west. Okay.
Right.
I just need to catch up because.
Right, okay, Mr. Cassidy.
I guess this is Dr. Van Meter. In reading the proposals previously, they have this first year cost controls, the GUI optional. is that something on top of the cost for service and the cost for controls?
Yes, sir. So that,
Can you explain what that?
yes, sir. So what that does is converts everything on the control side to basically a GUI, graphic user interface. Basically increases, betters the controls where they can make changes both at their office and from what I understand at the school as well. There are some proposals that say, hey, you gotta do this because the controls are old, and we need to replace these. There are other folks that said, hey, we can replace these if you want, it's gonna cost X number of dollars. And so I laid those out for you.
Okay, so that's on top of
Yes, sir.
any of these actual annual costs?
Roger that. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. If there are other questions in the first round, we're gonna do the second round, Mr. Burrow.
I was gonna bring that up, but that all the additional costs are on top of whatever the numbers that listed up there. Now, y'all know me, I'm a high-strung Cajun. So, and yes, I did take my blood pressure medicine this morning. So I thought if I got out of line on that, I apologize for that, but, I mean, it's asinine that we're looking at doing this. Understand the complaint, the one who are handicapped and the one that's doing that. We can't, I don't think we can hold them accountable for that. But if we're gonna do anything, I would rather spend the additional money and go lower. You think we got problems now? Have somebody come to Lafayette and try to fix something.
All right. Yeah, all right, Ms. Ayo. All right, this is the second round. All right, any other questions or comments before we take vote?
So, I just wanna mention that approximately, look at the bid, Bernhard is optional, CMC is optional, Star there, almost 800,000 is required on top of the 3.8 million, 4.6 million. I just want to throw that out there, when we're not just talking 1.3 million, we're talking 2.1 million difference.
Now, that upgrade, just to make sure everybody's clear, is for 1 year, right? So that's a one-time 700,000, and then after that.
I guess
It's
the
up.
Bernhard was, it says that we reduce controls by.
Yes, sir. So in other words, if you upgraded on the Barnhart side, if you upgraded, then they reduce the amount that the cost of the controls were. So instead of $433,628, you reduced it by $44,400, which brings that total at the end, instead of $3,027,000 to 2.8. Does that make sense? I tried to summarize it as best I could. I probably did.
Ayo.
Everett. We had a couple gentlemen say that we've provided Johnson Control with more resources, more money, what they needed, that things get better. All I'm familiar with are my school. Do we have any guidance saying that since we've provided more resources that there's been an improvement?
I mean, I'm sure we can pull school due data and things like that, but I think what they're referring to too is the influx of ESSER money. We put about $10 million into changing equipment out. And so that's where they're talking about those additional resources. I didn't pull school due data in terms of what they were in 23, 24, what the service calls were in 23, 24 versus 24, 25.
So we're really not sure if Johnson Control has improved because we gave them the extra resources or because of the extra money.
Well, the ESSER money though is the extra resources,
Well,
right?
because we have taken our
Yes, ma'am. Well, and then they have,
Right.
yeah.
They were more
Yes, ma'am. And then also,
update our system. So
yes, ma'am.
we're not, we can't prove that they're better because, we gave them one place.
I mean,
Part of it.
I mean, I don't know that I can tell you, if you're asking,
Right.
you know, what caused the increase in performance, I can't speak to that. I would imagine it's a lot of it, is the fact that we put $10 million into equipment. I imagine a lot of it also is that they have some extra workers working. I'm gonna be honest with you too, I imagine a lot of it is the fact that we probably, or we did not have the super hot weather 2 years ago, wasn't repeated last year. It was hot last year, but it wasn't 2 years ago hot. 2 years ago hot was something fierce. So I imagine when you put those three things together, that's, if you ask me my professional opinion, that's what I would say is gonna cause some
So when you
increase
met
in
with the
performance.
company, what was, I'm sorry, I missed.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. What was staff's recommendation?
Staff's recommendation coming back, was Johnson, from,
For the whole care?
yes, ma'am, based off of, the fact that there wasn't something that clearly separated the two. We did give folks the opportunity, to vote on both sides, one side, either east side, west side, or both.
So that's when the board discussed.
Ma'am?
That's when the board discussed.
And then the board decided, hey, we're good.
All right, Mr. Tarver.
Ms. A also was not at that meeting, so that is basically what happened, is the debate at the meeting was about splitting the parish or not, and that was, we decided to split the parish. But I think Mr. Bros is probably right, it doesn't really matter, if you have 8 votes to do whatever you want, I guess we don't have to split the parish. I don't know what last month we said let's split it, but you have 8 votes this month, it doesn't really matter, right? I'm generally in agreement with that, 8 votes to do whatever you want, so, I still want to split it, so I'm still a no on this. I do like, the last thing I always like to do is make sure we're all clear on what's an up and what's a down. So an up would be to go back to Johnson Controls on both sides and set aside their $1 million. A down, in my head, just clarifying, would be, we're going to keep discussing, is what a down would be, right? If we don't have a, so we're on an amendment right now, so if we go down the amendment, it's going to go back to continuing to discuss.
Well, Mr. O'Bain was next. I'll put you down.
Yeah, I was gonna clarify that too, regardless of who gets the contract and the price, all this equipment, because, you know, we spent 10, probably closer to 11 million by the time we got finished. I guarantee you we could have spent 40, and very easily. But if we spend this extra money for any contractor, I mean, if we want to do these upgrades, it's gonna be $1.5 million plus, I mean, so, to get the same thing. I just want to clarify.
I'm Mr. Hardesty. I wanted to make sure I'm right. This is to do Johnson Control is but add $1 million to their contract.
No.
We'll make sure to clarify, I'll make sure to clarify before we vote. I'll make sure to clarify again before we vote.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand.
Yeah, I'll make sure that we do. All right, Mr. Pishon?
I just have a quick question on this. So previously, before we, upped the amount of employees for Johnson Controls, do we know how many we had before with them? 10?
How many employees before?
So we had 10 people previously. If you look at the amount of employees that are going to be provided to the service area for Bernhard and all them, that's at 10. That's going to put us back in the same position we were in before.
All right. You have questions? This is round 2. All right. All right, now remember, this is the amended or the subsequent motion that was made by Mr. O'Banion. I'm going to ask you to restate your motion in its entirety so that we can take vote on the motion, the subsequent motion.
Again, the vote is to award the contract on the west side we previously awarded on the east side to Johnson. Award it on the west side to Johnson and create, not give to Johnson, create $1 million a year fund or account, whatever you want to call it, for upgrading and replacing equipment as needed.
Right? All right, we're gonna take vote,
Roll call, please.
right? Roll call vote.
Ms. Ayo. Mr. Baumgartner.
No.
Mr. Grove.
Yes.
Mr. Castillo.
Yes.
Ms. Fontenot.
Yes.
Ms. Gay.
Yes.
Mr. Hardesty.
No.
Ms. Hardy McReynolds. Ms. Hardy McReynolds? Yes, ma'am.
It's very difficult.
You don't have to. You can abstain.
Mr. Natale. No. Mr. O'Banion.
Yes.
Mr. Pichon.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
No.
Mr. Tarver.
No.
Reverend Wallace.
No.
Dr. Washington.
Yes.
Seven. Fails. Yeah.
It is a tie, so the subsequent motion fails. Back to the original motion, 9J. Approval of HVAC services for District West Side.
Amend the motion that we, accept Star Services. And look at that side because they are local.
Have a second?
What,
West side.
On the west side.
Have a second? Ms. Fontenot. It was moved by Mr. Hardesty and seconded by Ms. Fontenot. Now, this is a subsequent motion, so we will begin discussion on this motion too. Please say it again, if you don't mind, Mr. Hardesty.
So that we accept Star Services because they are local on the west side.
All right, round one. All right. Mr. Tarver?
I'm a yes for Star because I think they do a great job, and I'd rather have somebody local than somebody out of Baton Rouge. That was never any intention to get somebody out of Baton Rouge from my perspective. I'm a local guy to begin with.
All right, Mr. O'Banion?
I wasn't in the second, well, either round of the meeting. Did Bernhard have a plan? I mean, were they gonna open a local office, have local people? Did they say?
Yeah, they do service here now. As a matter of fact, they're servicing places here now, big places here now. So, the big thing about, being local versus not is, in my opinion, is when there is an emergency and something broke, right? In terms of preventative maintenance and things like that, you know, the point was kind of brought up that if they have to be at work at 7 o'clock, if they're driving from, you know, Jennings or Lafayette or wherever, they're gonna be at work at 7 o'clock, even if they have to be in Starks. So the PM side, preventative maintenance side is not really the issue as much as it is, you know, something breaks.
Again, I mean, I know a lot, but it's still $1.5 million more dollars. So with that, I mean, we're supposed to be looking at the taxpayers' money, and we did the RFP, we scored it. That's it.
Mr. Roberts, and then Mr. Green.
How long is the contract for?
3 years.
So we're gonna spend nothing against them, but we're gonna spend $1.5 million a year more. Plus $791,000, which is $2.157 million. You know, and we just recently, in this meeting, a few items up, adopted the salary scale, which were pension pennies to be able to try to do that. But we're gonna come in and spend the first year $2.1 million more to be able to convert that. Now, this is not a shot at y'all at all. If we're gonna do this, I would much rather have y'all than somebody coming out of Lafayette, to be clear on that 1,000%. But I mean, I've seen some crazy things come out of the board of this, the crazy. You know, so, how many people are y'all gonna have on? Can we ask them a question first? So, that's it.
Yeah.
So 22 local service technicians. How many of those are gonna be dedicated for Couchy Bear?
So is that a question to staff or is that a question?
When we asked that question, it was, hey, we've got 12 to 15 folks that are gonna be working this account.
So,
That's actually not what
If you're gonna speak, I'm asking you to come to the mic,
Correct.
Mr.
That's
Adams.
the notes I took, Mr. Adams, in the meeting.
Make sure to, just, again, just state your name and what company you represent.
Thomas Adams, Star Service. So currently embedded in the West Zone, there's 22 employees. We will be hiring an additional 15 employees in conjunction with those 22 employees. So
but how many of those are gonna be directly tied to our system? Like Johnson's got, is it 8 to 10 or whatever, it is, before we adjust?
yes, yes.
How many of those out of the 30 or whatever you're gonna have are gonna be tied to Couchy Bear school system?
So the 15 additional, they would not start out being 15 additional people on day one, because we're gonna have an influx of people for the initials. There's gonna take a lot of people to get this coming up off the ground. But eventually, that's where the 15 additional hires would come in. And we will have people nested in these schools. So there'll be familiarity, as one of you mentioned earlier. And that's, I hope that answers that,
So
okay?
you're gonna have 20 some odd people, 15 more that are gonna come in and do the transition, which is where basically the additional $800,000 is coming from. Once that's done, how many people are gonna be tied?
I'm sorry, Mr. Crowe, would you repeat that? I'm not
So
sure. about-
you've got 20 some odd, 22 people.
Currently,
Local
yeah.
technicians, and you're gonna hire an additional 15 more to come in and do the initial training.
And 2 supervisors,
All done,
yes.
Which is where your $3.8 million is gonna come in addition to another $791,000 to do the transition over to y'all system. Once that's done, and everything is all on your system, how many people are gonna be responsible for our students?
Ultimately, 22 plus 15 plus 2. 22 existing
Nobody,
employees.
no restaurants, no Couchy Bears, police jury, no courthouse in Sulphur, just Couchy Bear school.
Yeah, so the way this works effectively, everyone, and I think this is like a lack of understanding about our business model. Everybody that is in our camp, the 22 employees that we currently have now, plus the 2 additional supervisors, plus the additional 15 technicians that we will have in place if we get this account, they will all be at any given time susceptible to being on site at any one of these schools. Does that make sense? Because here's the thing I think needs to be stated. If it's
Let me interject real quick.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hand the gavel to our former previous past president, Mr. Tarver. I'll step away for about 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
If I could just make one comment. This is what I want to maybe try to drive home just a little bit. If it's Sunday night and you have a big day tomorrow, first day of school, follow me on this scenario, and someone at one of these 31 sites realizes that, oh wow, our air conditioning system is down. We're gonna have somebody out there. I'm not gonna stand before you today and give you a name because I don't know who that name would be, but there's a variation of equipment here, and the guy who's on call and the guy with the best skill set is gonna be the one who's gonna get you going for Monday morning. And that is a real life scenario that I'd like for you to think about. Again, the response time is going to be the second most critical element of this program. The second most critical element is going to be response time. And we will have the location and the people to meet that need. The first most important part is the preventive maintenance that's in place to prevent the failure in the first place.
Mr. Rowe, you still got the floor, you done? Okay, we just had a blue card turned in, which technically, you're supposed to have turned it in before the agenda item starts, but this is a really big deal, so I don't want to exclude you guys from talking. So, Bernhardt, you got, Joey Pittman, y'all got 5 minutes.
All right, I'd like to thank y'all for allowing me to be here and speak with y'all tonight. So Bernhard, we're a 100-year-old company. We started right here in Louisiana. We take care of a lot of school districts throughout the entire state. We take care of a lot of hospitals, we're the largest mechanical air conditioning contractor in the state of Louisiana. We have a lot of resources. We have over 300 certified air conditioning technicians that we can get on site. If we were to get awarded the West Zone, we would have 15 dedicated guys that showed up to your site at 7 o'clock every morning. Those 15 dedicated guys would be at your school district from 7 a.m. till 4 p.m. And if something would need to work later, we would work later. If we needed more than those 15 guys because some catastrophic thing happened, then we would bring in other resources. Our agenda is to make sure that you're satisfied with your air conditioning. We have a contract to uphold. Did a really good job with the RFP. It's a very similar RFP that a lot of the other school districts throughout the whole state are using. We take care of a lot of other school districts. There's a guarantee in this contract that if we don't do our job, if there's a bond in there that y'all can use and get the next guy. That's part of the guarantee that we're going to provide the best service we can. That's in y'all's RFP. Again, we take care of a lot of school districts. We do Star's a great company. Johnson Controls is a great company. We work side by side in other parishes. They do great. A lot of the other school districts, they are worried that one contractor would get spread too thin and they don't have enough resources. That's why they split the district up. For example, if we were to get an award to the west side and y'all needed some support on the east side, we'd be more than happy to help with that, or vice versa. We do that in other districts all the time. Just want to allow y'all to let me be here. If there's any questions you have in particular, I'd be more than happy to answer. Regarding the controls for this district, y'all's control system actually is old. Y'all do have an old control system. So during the RFP, they asked what could be done to improve it, and a graphical user interface. Right now, there is no graphical user interface. You can't really see which school is hot, and you got to dig into the weeds. You need a computer scientist to see what's going on with your air conditioning system. So if you had that graphical user interface, it would be a lot easier to operate your air conditioning system. With that being said, we can keep for the same price now, we can keep it going the way it's been going for the last 20 years. If you did want to upgrade and add that system to it, that would be a benefit. Down the road, you do need to look at replacing that entire control system throughout the district. Star mentioned that they had 22 local employees, and that if they got this a contract, they would hire 15 new ones to supplement the manpower. We got 300 guys that we're going to be here at 7 o'clock. We're going to leave at 4 o'clock and just stay away to get the job done. If we don't do our job, use your bond and go to the next guy. We're going to satisfy y'all's needs. It's guaranteed. Any questions?
Do I have any questions for Mr. Pittman? All right, Mr. O'Banion.
So are you gonna have some kind of office or trailer or some kind of facility here?
Yeah, so we do a lot of projects here in Lake Charles now. We have a little remote office down the road off of Highway 90, but we will be getting, I think the RFP had some, I think Johnson Controls was actually working out of one of the buildings. I think they had some extra space, and we also use that alongside our office that we have here in Lake Charles now.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tibbetts.
Thank you.
All right, do I have any other questions, General, on the subsequent motion made by Mr. Hardesty? All right,
Just to clarify, a yes is star, a no is keep discussing, right?
yes, that's correct. Does everybody have it? All right, a yes is the star, a no is to keep it with Colonel. Or keep discussing, excuse me, keep discussing. All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Ayer.
Yes.
Mr. Baumgarten.
Yes.
Mr. Bro.
No.
Mr. Castillo.
No.
Ms. Fontenot.
Yes.
Ms. Gay.
No.
Mr. Hardesty.
Yes.
Ms. Hardy McReynolds.
No.
Mr. Natale.
No.
Mr. O'Banion.
No.
Mr. Pishon.
No.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Tarver.
Yes.
Reverend Wallace.
No.
Dr. Washington.
No.
Nine votes for no.
All right, so the motion fails. Back to the original motion. And that is 9J, approval of HVAC services for District West Side. All right, Ms. O'Banion?
Make a motion to, award contract to Bernhardt County.
Second.
It was moved by Mr. O'Banion to award the contract to Bernhardt and seconded by Mr. Roberts. All right, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Roll call, please. That was unclear at best.
Before we vote,
I have a question. I think I have a question.
Well, I did open it up and say, does anybody have any questions? And nobody said anything. So we're moving on to the vote.
Okay, that's
Roll call vote.
That's fine.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Ayer. Ms. Ayer.
What happens in a no, I'm unclear what happens in a no vote here.
So a yes vote is to award the contract to Bernhardt. Bernhardt, thank you. And a no vote means we go back to the original motion and discuss what direction we want to go.
The only question I would have
Uh-huh.
is about controls, right? Because it is optional. So STAR, you didn't have an option.
Okay, but, y'all, Dr. Benito,
That's the only question I would have.
is about controls.
So he needs to clarify.
Well, changing the controls in terms of upgrading, whether or not you want to upgrade the controls. Because on STARS, it was not an option. That makes sense?
I'll make a motion that we, accept Bernhardt and upgrade to the contract.
Bernhardt and the controller. Okay. So that's a motion that you are changing your motion or adjusting your motion to include controls for Bernhardt. All right, do I have a second on that motion?
Okay, now that
All
we've
right,
changed.
Mr. Dean, Mr. Roberts, second that motion. All right, now we can open it up for questions and comments again.
Mr.
Go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
I'm sure this is gonna go over like a ton of bricks, but I make a substitute motion that Bernhardt gets the east side and Johnson Control stays on the west side. Y'all want to change? Take a change.
Not greatly opposed.
All right, so we have a subsequent motion on the table from the original that says, go ahead, Mr. Bro, restate, and it was seconded by Ms. Gay, right?
One change in the motion, the substitute motion is that Bernhardt gets the east side, and Johnson Control stays on the west side.
All right, so flip flop. All right,
I got a point of order.
Ms. Gay second, right?
President, point of order, real quick.
Yes, sir, Mr. Roberts.
The board's already moved on the east side. The board has already moved on the east side.
Yeah, I think we need the legal opinion.
I'm not sure.
I think you'd have to rescind the award of the east side to JCI before you award JCI on the west side.
Yeah.
So, can I make a motion that we rescind? I don't know how to word that, but rescind I think you'd have to add that to the agenda, and that would take unanimous approval, and my sense of the board is, I doubt seriously you're gonna get unanimous.
I saw a lot of nodding heads.
All right.
Contract.
Well, let's see, Mr. Roberts has the floor and Mr.
So-
Balfour.
so-
You just, okay, go ahead.
So the contract's already been awarded.
Let's listen up, order.
We've already awarded the contract. I don't believe we should go back on that. Folks, at some point, we got to stop this. This is ridiculous.
I
So,
agree.
my question is, is that substitute motion even practical?
No.
I believe before the substitute motion is reasonable, you need to rescind the award of the contract to JCI.
Is that on our agenda tonight?
It is not.
Okay. So I asked the chair not to honor the substitute motion because of that, contract issue that we have.
So, because it's not on the agenda, we do not visit rescinding the motion, rescinding the order of the contract that was set last week. Okay? The agenda says where, so we.
That makes Mr. Grove's motion out of order, if you want my opinion.
Okay, all right. So we'll strike that motion.
Just a point of order.
But
I don't think it's gonna happen. It could be done, but it would take unanimous vote. Correct?
well, I think that the thing is that it's not on the,
Yeah, I mean, that's not gonna happen. I mean,
You want unanimous vote.
all right. So,
So can I make a motion that we table this and bring this up at next meeting, to be able to come back and have it on the agenda? I think, because I saw a lot of nodding heads on it that agreed with that. So if we table this, we can bring this up next month and do that. 'Cause I saw a lot of agreements on it.
okay, so what is our timeline that we have to make this decision?
So, this takes effect 11/1,
Mhm.
right? We would have to, I know we have built-in timeline for, whichever contractor is awarded to go and inspect, as well as then, we've got to get the contracts in line and everything, and get all that signed. So if you're talking about doing this, what I hear you say is 8/12? You're asking, is that too tight of a timeline?
All this,
It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be pretty tight.
Well, obviously, money's not an issue if we're gonna spend $2 million more to be able to do that. So even if it costs $3 million more to do it, it's gonna be. Is there a second on the motion to table, because the motion?
right, is there a second?
It's undebatable.
To table, what are we tabling? We just,
This whole thing.
Tabling 9,
okay, but, to the chair, I know that we've had a lot of discussion on many things tonight, but I thought we were here to vote on the item that was on the agenda tonight. And can you explain to me why we accepted Mr. O'Banion's motion? And then I got confused when the amended motion was made to determine what side, what company would receive. I don't think that was an issue tonight. I'd like to move forward with who we're going to select as contractors for the HVAC. And then that other part can be decided in another meeting. We have a full board here tonight. We can make a decision. I might have been nodding my head for whatever reason, but it was not a nay or not, you know, it was probably because I'm tired. But, I think we should address that, because we have both companies here, we've listened to what the companies have to say. So, is it that we're deciding between Star and the other company? Is that what that's what I thought I was getting ready to vote on.
So,
So, Mr. Belt was pointing out that with the motion to table,
and it was second, that ends the discussion on the item for now and table it until August 12th.
You vote on the motion to table, it takes a majority vote.
A majority, not anything more than a majority, it just takes 8. It just takes 8,
It takes.
motion to table.
And one nay voids that,
Okay.
am I
So we're ready to
correct?
take vote on the table.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
It's majority vote.
Okay.
Sorry. And look, let's just, look, the reason why we're confused is because we've had a number of amendments or subsequent motions that we have discussed. But now with what Mr. Grove, motion to table, and then who seconded that? Seconded that? Mr. O'Banion, it tabled, does it also table what was already passed for the west side? I mean, the east side, excuse me. No, so that means the tabling for the discussion for the west side contract is based upon our board, will be, tabled until August, possibly 12th.
That's correct.
Okay, so does everyone understand?
I think so.
Okay, all right. So, being that it's tabled,
Point of order, real quick.
that's it, there's no discussion on it when it's up.
I just got a question, not regarding that. So we had a motion and a second before, and we were about to vote on this item. Can the table interrupt that while you have that active? Can you do a motion to table?
Yes, sir.
During, actually, you have a motion second. All right.
That's when the motion to table is appropriate.
So there's discussion on the item. All right, so that is only, again, for the west side, because the east side was determined at the previous meeting already. The contract that moving forward with Johnson Control, correct? Is that where we are? Yes. Okay, all right.
Well, just to clarify, not debating, but I mean, for the next, we can change the agenda for the next one.
The way I understand it, the reason that you can't change the east side now is because it's not on the agenda. You could conceivably put it on the agenda for the next one.
All right. All right, being that it was a motion to table, have we designated that date as, or do we need to add a
Well,
date?
that's the next.
That's just the next.
I keep saying the 12th.
I don't know, the second Tuesday in August.
Yeah.
All right.
Whatever the next meeting, yeah, whatever the next one.
All right. Moving on. Oh, you see, they're all mixed up tonight, huh? All right. All right, so all in favor?
Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. All right. Miss Ada.
What am I voting on?
The table, motion to table.
Mr. Bombard.
Yes.
Mr. Bro. Yes. Mr. Castillo.
No.
Ms. Fontenot.
Yes.
Ms. Gay.
No,
Mr. Hardesty.
Yes.
Ms. Hardy McReynolds.
Yes.
Mr. Natale. Mr. O'Banion.
Yes.
Mr. Pishon.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts. Mr. Tarver.
Yes.
Reverend Wallace.
Yes.
And Dr. Washington.
Yes.
You have 11 votes.
Motion carries. All right,
It's
item
on
C.
the table.
All right, now, 9K. Approval of resolution approving the purchase for the sum of $10,000 of the Knights of Columbus Hall on 401 Ash Street in Sulphur, owned by the Building Association of Sulphur Council 3015, as described on the cash deed, authorizing the board president to sign all necessary documents ratifying, approving, and confirming the authority of the school board president with respect to all documents he has executed.
Motion for purchase.
Go ahead and second. All right, moved by Mr. O'Banion and seconded by, all right. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, ayes have it. Number 10, permission to advertise E-rate services and equipment for 26-27 school year technology department. All right, moved by Mr. Baumgarten. I heard a lot of, seconded by Ms. Hardy McReynolds on my right side here. All right, any questions? All in favor, say aye. All right, motion carries, ayes have it. All right, 11, bid reports for ratification. All right. We don't have any. 12, bid reports, none. All right, and 13, correspondence. A, all right. It was moved for items, so we do moving for items A through C.
So moved.
All right, and seconded by Mr. Natale, excuse me. All right, 13A, Ms. Hardy and Mr. Natale. All right. A, change order number 2 for the project modifications of existing library at Washington Marion, Magnet High School, District 31 bond funds, Eleanor Architects and Associates, LLC Designer Gunner Construction Company, Inc. Contractor increase of $4,158 and increase of 30 days.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Ayes have it on 13A, 13B. All right, change order number 3, the project new gym and site improvement at Washington Marion Magnet High School, District 31 bond funds, Eleanor Architects and Associates, LLC Designer, PERC Development, LLC Contractor increase of $89,979.57, an increase of 161 days. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. C, change order 4 for the project new 2-story classroom building, Maplewood Middle and Elementary, District 23 bond funds, Eleanor Architects and Associates, LLC, Designer, Pat Williams Construction, LLC, Contractor, increase of $96,662.03, an increase of 21 days. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries, ayes have it. Number 14, condolences and recognitions. We'll start on my right with Ms. Ayo.
Absolutely. I'm gonna brag on Benton, Ag Department. It's Elizabeth Barron, our Benton student, qualified for nationals in Athens in October. And I just gotta say kudos. These guys, they went to the Cattlemen's Association. They went to the Louisiana Department of Ag and Forestry. They went to the taxpayer nutrition program. They went to the Career Tech taxpayers. They went to Full Farm Research and presented. They also presented at a banquet and sporting office. And they did all of that on their own time to practice to prepare for nationals. And I am so proud. That's all I have.
All right.
Mr. Bishop.
None.
All right, Dr. Washington.
I'd like a letter of condolence sent to the family of Marjorie Robinson Chavis. She was a teacher and assistant, and I believe she was a curriculum coordinator as well as J.J. Johnson and Kennedy.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Breaux, you have anything?
No.
Okay, Mr. Roberts, all right? Ms. McReynolds.
I'd like to be added, Dr. Washington.
Mr. Natale.
I'd like to, letter Ian Roy, the highway man.
Mr. Tarver. Ms. Castillo. All right. Ms. Fontenot, Ms. Bungard, Mr. O'Bain, Ms. Gay.
Yes, I'd like to be added to Marjorie Chavis's letter, and also to my neighbor of 51 years, Mr. James Hollier. He has 2 children employed with Calvert Street Parish School Board, Viveka Woods who teaches, I think, at, not Brentwood, but, and the other one is Victor Haye, who works, with Mr. Max over in that department.
Thank you. And Ms. Carlisle, can you add me to the one for Dr. Washington, for Ms. Chavis, as well as the one for Ms. Gay, Mr. Haye? Thank you very much. All right, number, yes, ma'am. Ms. McGinnis. Thank you. All right, number 15, scheduled committee meeting, CNI committee, Thursday, August 21st, 2025. And it says no change.
Yeah, we did have to change that from, the Tuesday after, Mr. Hartson, yes.
Okay, all right, and the budget committee will be Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. All right. 16, adjournment.
So move.
All right, moved by Mr. Pichon and seconded by Mr. Tarver. All in favor? Any nays? Motion carries. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.